Right, we're recording. So we're back up to this. This is a major sort of pivot resistance, 34,000, sorry. We look as if we could break up. So if we continue up, we should reach out for 35,000, at which point that is a crucial area of resistance, assuming we can keep going up here. Oil. Hot subject at the moment. So we've hit this 2021 extension up here and a little bit more, and so I can see we've had invents today. The market actually sold off at the invent, so I think we are sitting up too high. Any subsequent pullback to the 100 mark. Well, the 100 was a major resistance. Now we pop through. If we can pop back, and I think we can go back to the highs and maybe more. A lot of people are suggesting we can go to 125. So if you're patient and get a pullback, that is a possibility. All right, so whilst this oil is so high, I would sit back and see if you can get a pullback. That may not pull back this week. It may be that it pulls back into next week, but I would expect to see 100 again, and interested to see what that does. So let's have a look at the FTSE. FTSE is knocking its head against 2021 highs today. So we are compressed into this apex here. So if we can, anytime in the next day or two, if we can push above that and close above 7,500, then we can get going. But there is, you can see a lot of resistance under there. If we break these lows, then we're going to come and find 7,000. So the jury's out. Any market that can't close above the previous annual high is going to struggle and potentially fall back. So we've looked at gold and oil and indices. I just want to look at the Nikkei. Just want to get a measure of what Asia's doing. Asia's come down to the extension and is trying to pull up. I am actually long Japanese small companies, a Bailey Gifford fund, and just looking to see if this can hold here. Again, if we can, these are 2021 lows. So that's going to be really, I think we're holding up. So obviously I'm long Japanese small companies. So if we can start closing above 27,000, I think we can retrace back into this area here. I think Asia is potentially sheltered from global geopolitics and sheltered from rate rises as well. So I am very bullish this market. And that's going to be borne out only if we close above 27,000. So I'm interested. So I'm long Nikkei, Japanese small companies, and looking for that to push higher. Emerging markets are at the bottom of this channel, huge channel stretching back from February last year. So it's a 12-month-old channel. Again, so this one picks up above this area here, this support, which was November 2020 lows, then I think that can pop up as well. So you can see despite all the politics, I am actually still bullish on this, but obviously I'm taking it one day at a time, because this is, I've become very short-termism at the moment. I'm just bailing out stocks that are giving me decent profits and just clearing the decks. And you can see that with, let's go to some of the stocks I have been in. I have been in BT, took BT off at the highs because that is a major. So I took it off at 199. We're currently down, seeing 177. I would like to see that come lower. I would like to see a full retracement into that trend line. You never know. Is it too much to ask to see 150, 160? Could be. But I'm going to hold out and see if we can get a lower number in BT. Let's concentrate on, I bailed out of Vodafone after a good run. So I didn't stay in it till the 140. I stayed in it till about 123, 125, I think. Again, happy if that pulls right back to something like 115, 118 and holds, I will jump back in. But I am short-termism and not hanging around. IQE, bought this around the 30, 31 mark. We've seen 42. I'm holding out for 45.50. So I'm giving this one a bit more space, locking in some profits, dragging out my stop, and just seeing if this, if it does come back down to 35, 37 and holds, then I think this one is good for a re-entry if you're not in it. Otherwise, I wouldn't chase the market if you're not in that. It's a habit of mine not to chase the market, and even more so at the moment. Right. Rolls-Royce. Now, I've taken a bit of heat on this one. Got in at 104. We've seen 87, so quite a dip. At the moment, regretting not buying down there. So when I got in at 104, I saw 120, 122, and that obviously we'd failed and dropped down here. If we start breaking these lows, I'm only in a half-size position, hence the bigger stop. But if we can survive here and start closing above this area, then I think we can claw back. So I'm interested in this. If you're not in this and you are interested in this stock, then consider buying at these lower numbers, 90 to 95, but get your stop under 85 and get out if that breaks 85. If this breaks 85, I think this is coming down to 69 potentially. All right, it's a very volatile market. I'm not hanging around, and I would suggest you don't hang around. QQ, I suggested you might want to buy 244 on this dip. So I suggested that on the 22nd. I was already in this, but I bought another full-size position at 244 and took it out took a half off at 292, 294, maybe a little higher. So I'm basically, so I like this one a lot. Took a little, so when it dived into that support, I bought more. This is cybersecurity and defense, so it's the right sector. Increase in volume, a 1-2-3 wave pull, move, and a 1-2-3 wave correction into this lovely higher low. It broke the neckline after I took a couple of days after I took the trade, and then so I took half my position off to go back to normal size position, and now I got a nice little buffer here with a stop above my entry. Again, I wouldn't chase this. 310 is the next potential, and I think we're going to go back to this breakdown area. I think that's 340, 330. Okay, so any subsequent, so if that pans out and then we drift back, I would then re-enter on another position. So I'm looking to take my second half off, or my initial core position off of that high, that 330, and then I would look to see if that can pull back and ultimately maybe even end the year up around the 350 plus. Okay, so everything is swing trading for me at the moment. Everything. I'm not sitting around investing. I'm just swing trading. I don't think I can classify any of my investments as swing trading. I am really liking Pfizer. I have bought an extra position on these lows. I traded this up last year, traded that move, got out, bought back on that support because that was the breakup area, bought it back there, rode that out, got out, and now I started to get in around the 50 mark, got stopped out, and now I'm buying back on these lows. So I got that much profit, that loss, and now I'm back in. So decent profit, small loss, back in. All right, this is my swing trade, my style that I'm adopting for this very volatile market. Right. What's any stocks you want me to look at for you? Any stock you're in or interested in? The Hut Group is, the volume has picked up. This was a high flyer pre-COVID. So the volume, they've got a little buy signal down there around about the 100 mark. We had a buy signal down here and it failed. But this time around, we didn't get a horrible drop off in the volume. This time around, we have got higher volumes. This THG might do it. I would go in half size and don't get out if it starts to close lower again and break these lows. If you're interested, otherwise stay out. If you're not prepared to lose money on this, stay out, because that is the only attitude you can have. Yeah, I've covered the Dow and the S&P, so I'll do it very, very briefly in a minute. Any stock you want me to look at? Otherwise, I'll just keep going. Let's have a look at the retailers are still not happy. Surprise, surprise. This Boo is attempting to ride this out, but it is really struggling. Symptomatic of, that's why I just don't want it too much. I have got exposure to retail, but it's very limited, very, very limited. The miners are obviously doing well. Let's have a look at PAF. You're very quiet today. Don't you want me to look at any stocks? So that 23 was a major resistance area. That was resistance from Feb last year. So I would consider, if you're not in this, I would look to see if we can come all the way back. If we can dip under 20 and hold, I think that is a buyer. But if you look at these stocks, EasyJet, surprise, surprise, in a war, struggling. That's a potential pin bar reversal on volume, but not for me. I'm not interested in it. I'm just staying away from these airlines. IAG. Same story, but trying, so that's gone right back into December support, trying to pick up. Let's look at Chewy. Chewy pulled out the gates in this year really well. So we pulled up in December, and then the first day of the trading day of the year was here at 233. Did a run to £3, and now we're back into December support. I don't feel comfortable buying stocks like that given what we're facing at the moment. Persimmon. So it's attempting to hold here. Where is this pen? So if we can stay above this 23.40, this is a great dividend payer. Not sure when it is ex-dividend. I think it's at 15%. It's a very big dividend player. So a lot of people, let's have results today. Okay. Yeah, there was a lot of movement in these stocks. 10th of March for dividend, right? Okay. Well, that would figure why they're trying to hold this up if that 10th of March is looming. What was I going to look at? I was going to look at, not tested this one, so just, this came up on my radar today. I'm just going to look at it. I think this is the one. I have to go and double check. Wow. No, I need to go and check the stock for that. 125, right. Okay, quick look at the banks, then I'm going to disappear. Let me find my, right, here we are, right. So a quick look at update on Tullow. So that 49, well, we dipped into 47. Any pullback to 50, 53 in Tullow that's broken out through this structure. So that is looking good again. Quick look at the banks. Barclays. We've got this familiar, so we come right into September numbers here. I'm going to update this chart. You can see we've not quite hit the support yet. So I'm not, it's certainly decent volume today. I'm not convinced that that is done yet. We've actually just, we've not actually backfilled. There's a gap down here. I think that's going to come and find that gap. I'm going to hold fire. Now I've gone ex-VAT, okay. If that I think that I think that's got further to go. Right, what else am I interested in? Let's have an update on my short. I've been short a lot more stocks. So I initially shorted this up here at 64.5, took it off at 54, got back in at 62, still in it. I'm still looking for this to break down. This is Card Factory. I think this stock is a dog. I think if we can just break that low, then I think we can come and find 30. 30 is right down here at February 2021 lows. Okay, so my stop is now going to be 52. If you're interested in this, I would back off. I think it's shorting low is not a good idea. So this one is well and truly on the way as far as I'm concerned. So I'm just managing my risk at this stage. Right, you are very, very quiet. You're not giving me any other stocks to check. Let me see if there's anything else I want to look at. SE seeing machines. I'm still nervy, but it's had a drop right back to 6.8 and had a nice run into 8.5. This is a cheapie we've looked at for quite a while. I still think that could come back into this area. I would not chase this. I would be patient to see if that can drop back to 7.3. My attitude is, if it drops there, I would take it with a stop under the lows. If it starts to run, I will also I will just leave it. I'm not going to chase it. HMS. What's that one? You know, is that dark? Okay, let's talk about dark. Yeah, I'm not in dark, but also cyber security. Yeah, I think so. We've gone right into this bar over here. So if you look, if I range that bar, so we had a good run up here on the 11th of Jan. So and then we dropped right off. Excuse me, I can't sort this platform out. Okay. You know what? I would sit tight and see if that can pull back into the 350, 380 mark. If you're interested, it has come up here on volume, but if you're in it, then personally I would have taken profits that high. I think now it's done this. I think that's the initial impulse. I think it could now well dip back into the 350 area before it potentially takes off. It's a good stock. Well, technically it's a good stock. The volume is up there. It may not do that, but that's, if it does do that, then I would then get interested. Otherwise, I'm just going to trade QQ and stay in QQ and manage that one. All right, I'm not in a lot of stocks. I'm limiting the number of stocks I'm in. I'm managing my risk in a much tighter way. I'm swing trading. I'm not investing. So I'm just adjusting my trading to this more volatile environment. Lloyd's. Now I do like Lloyd's. I think this, if I was going to trade anything at the moment, I think I would trade this one, because I think this is a very interesting area. So I would try and bid on 45.75, but I would, you know what, I would not hang around if that gets under 44. But I think there is a chance that could pop up. So that's my tip of the day. Let me just let me just show you something on. So what I'm seeing here is we've got a little little sort of pennant pattern down there. So this nice big run up here, pulled right back into support, and then went on this run. So now we've done a three-wave correction. If this corrective wave is over, which potentially it is on volume, I would try and bid into today's range, stop underneath, and then see if this can wind back up. So if we close back above 50, we may potentially go and see 57. All right, so I'm cautiously going to dip my toe, buy a position in this Lloyd's. And then that's it otherwise. Okay, LGen, yeah, I meant to scan that one today. It's interesting, you should bring that up. LGen. Yeah, we're seeing this pattern a lot in FTSE stocks. We've had a gap down here on the 19th of August last year. We had already filled it on Tuesday, yesterday. New low, a higher close, not a complete reversal signal, but a higher close. It's not for me, but if you're interested, I would try and bid on 250, 260 with a stop underneath. Are you actually in this, or are you contemplating? Oh, dark results tomorrow, right? Okay, so I missed you saying that. Right, so good reason why to back off from dark and see where that goes. Right, you're looking at LGN. Okay, well, higher volume, higher close, only knocked its head into resistance. Like I said, if I was going to dip into that, I'd try and bid 250, 260. If it ran up, I wouldn't chase it. That's all I can say. Anything else you want me to look at before I go? HMSO, yeah. Interesting one. Right, yeah, this just got to 40. This is another one of these stocks where, you know, if you get a decent number up here, personally, I would have bailed out. I know some of you might have stayed in this. I have spoken to people who stayed into this, but I think even on the 27th of Jan, you were up there at 39.90, 39.70. That would have got me out because you're right under a trend line. Currently, as I say, I keep seeing this pattern in UK stocks today. It is potentially holding up. It's not for me. I wouldn't personally, you know, I'm not a big fan of this stock. I have traded it in the past, in the recent past. If you're interested, I would try and bid at 340, 70 and get out if it breaks 33. Results on Friday. Okay, the results on Friday, I would back off because you might see that dipping back into this 32. I take that back then. I wouldn't trade that so close to results. I would wait until results are out of the way. Okay, I can see my gold is beginning to pick up a couple of bucks. Brilliant. All right. Major session on Sunday. If you've not got a link, shout now. If you are registered for Sunday, I will send out reminder links at least an hour before. And so, yeah, I promised I'd just go back over the indices, didn't I? Let's just have a very quick final look at the indices, especially as, yeah, we're still back where we were. So Dow, right up at this resistance area. If we can break higher this week, got monthly jobs on Friday. That if we can hold here, that might project it into 35k. At which point, excuse me. At which point that is a major issue. Oil's back to 108 nearly. And a quick look at the FTSE before I go. So very similar, just knocking its head into 2021 highs. Brilliant. Thanks for your company. See you on Sunday. Cheers. All right, POG. Very quick look at POG. Lower. That's coming down on volume. Anything to do with Russia is just, whoa. Yeah, huge. It was, the writing was on the wall. It was very scrappy up here in December. Very, very scrappy. It just wasn't behaving like the other, like miners that had interests in other parts of the globe. Surprise, surprise. And let's have a look at our EV racks. Whoa. So 50, we're very, again, we're coming, look at the volume. As we're coming down, we're coming down on volume. Now this is, at the moment, this is not what I have not got this with card at the moment. As cards come down, the volume has sort of fallen off. This has come down with higher volume. So this downtrend is still very much in place. Yeah. And there's the I got an extension at 50, and wow, maybe this is just going to go to zero. But we had a spike in sell volume initially. The pullback was sold into at 470. So we've got a 1, 2, 3 wave move here. And there's the breakdown. There's a structural breakdown in back end of the year. But that was a clear, in my way of thinking, that was a clear sell. Polymetal. Polymetal's had an absolutely horrendous time. That's not a bounce in my book. That, to me, you can see they come right down to this extension 290. I think that's a short covering move. I think that's short covering. I would not buy into that. No way. Not with my cautious attitude and trading at the moment. Brilliant. BlackRock upped its stakes. Well, good for BlackRock. Not for me. Absolutely not for me. There's much better stuff. You know what? The fact it's had an extension and it saw a higher volume. Yeah, I mean, if I was forced to trade it, this is where I would trade it, but I'm not going to. So I would, I would still bid at 250 with a stop under those lows. Yeah, I mean, the fact it's a very technical chart because it's sticking to my system. So yeah, you could, if there's any chance of that reversing, then this is it, but it's not for me. Brilliant. Thanks.